Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's activity. My name is Mackenzie Wallet and I'm an occupational therapy student at Bay Path University and I'm going to be hosting today's activity. So the activity today is called What's That Smell? A dive into sensory processing. So the overall purpose for today's group is that you will engage in a sensory exploration activity that will help you better identify your individual's sensory preferences through the use of tactile and olfactory stimuli. The expectations is that you will complete this activity prior to the Zoom discussion meeting that will be held on Tuesday at 10:15. So to begin, we will start with the warm-up exercise. This will include a body scan activity. So I will have you pause the video and you will go back to the modules under sensory processing group B. You will click on that and there will be a link for a YouTube video under the warm-up exercise activity. And then you will continue on with the rest of the activity. Alright, now that everybody has completed the warm-up exercise, we will continue on with the activity. So today's activity will include two parts, a tactile exploration and a olfactory exploration, and everyone in the group will participate in both portions of the activity. So I will begin by reviewing the materials that will be needed for the olfactory portion of this activity. The group members might want to go into Canvas and under the sensory processing group B module, there will be a olfactory exploration activity worksheet. This does lay out the materials nicely and breaks it down into categories, and they will be required to fill out this handout while they do participate in this activity. But for collecting materials, it is really helpful. This is the worksheet right here, and so we would be following these categories as we review the necessary materials for this activity. So individuals will be required to collect different stimuli around their house that have different types of smells. So, again, it's broken down into categories. So the first category is a spice. So the spice that I chose is cinnamon. Individuals can choose any spice that they have available. It could be pepper, even sugar, salt, basil, cilantro, anything that, again, they have available. The next category is something fruity. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a fruit. It could be anything from a fruity scented candle to a chapstick that smells fruity, or even lotion. I do have right here, I have grapes. That's something I did have available, so I chose that as my scent for that. The next category is something that's minty. So I have toothpaste right here. And then something fresh. So I like this one because fresh means something different to almost everyone. So for me, I have coffee because I think that coffee smells really fresh, and it's just a very refreshing smell to me. Other individuals might find that maybe certain lotions or even different kinds of foods, laundry. I even like a lot of candles that I think are very fresh smelling. So there are a variety of options. So the next category is something sour. So I have lemon juice. And this is something I do believe does smell sour. I think a lot of people might argue, but that's something that I believe smells sour. So the next category is something that's spicy. I have here is chipotle chili pepper. I'm not going to open it because this is very strong, and I'm not a huge fan of spicy smells. But individuals can choose anything that they do find spicy, which can vary. The next category is something that's relaxing. Again, this will vary from individual. So I have here is it's a pillow spray that I use when I go to bed, and I spray my blanket in my bed, and it's lavender and eucalyptus scented, which I find to be extremely relaxing, and it helps me go to sleep. But other individuals might not find lavender to be as relaxing of a smell. So we'll see the variety when we do our discussion. The next category is something enjoyable, and then something that you dislike. So these again will vary from person to person and will allow us to have a great conversation during our Zoom meeting. Just to note, individuals do not need to go in to seek out something that may bother them for a smell that they might dislike. It's something that might give you a headache. Please do not go and this out and be smelling this so that you have a major headache while doing this activity. That's not the goal. So you don't need to go and get it. You can just jot down how you feel about it. So those are the materials that will be needed for this activity. Once you collect the materials, it will be important that the group members will then take about 10 minutes, preferably nothing over 10 minutes, for this activity to really engage with these stimuli and think about how they will be feeling when they are smelling them. And will be asked to fill out, again, the worksheet while doing this, jotting down things that come to mind when they smell these smells. So, for example, the spiced cinnamon, I have that it makes me feel warm and cozy inside. It reminds me of baking applesauce with my Nana and warm desserts, and makes me think of the fall time. And I find this to be a really calming stimuli. And so that's just a general idea about how individuals might want to fill out the worksheet and some components they will want to include. So after individuals engage in the olfactory portion of this activity, they will then need to collect materials for the tactile portion of this activity. It's set up very similarly to the olfactory portion. So again, they will go into campus and find the tactile exploration activity worksheet, which will then lay out the different categories for the materials that they will need to collect. So again, they will fill this out too as they are engaging in these stimuli after they do collect them. So the first category of the items that they will need is something that is soft. Again, they do not need to follow this criteria to a T, it's just a guide. So the item that I have is a sock. It's really, really soft inside, but individuals can choose anything that they find to be soft. The next item is something that is squishy. So I have, it's a like sleeping mask. I don't think I've ever used it for that, but it has these fun balls in it, which are really fun to play with. And that's that. And so the next item then is something that's scratchy. So I have sandpaper, very scratchy. The next category is something that is bumpy. So I have a hairbrush because I really do think that the top of a hairbrush is really bumpy. But individuals can choose anything that they find to be bumpy that they have available. And then the next item is something that is sticky. So I have a lint roller. Anybody though can choose anything like tape or glue. Then the next one is something that's flexible. So I have a like silicone spatula. The top of it's very flexible. And then random items. So if people want to gather some other things that they have around their house that don't really fit into these categories, we'll share them during our discussion. And so these are the materials that individuals will need to participate in the tactile portion. Again, they will take about roughly 10 minutes after they do collect these to really engage with them, think about how these things make them feel, what are the sensations on their hands as they are really engaging in these stimuli. So once individuals finish the tactile exploration, they will complete the handout that goes along with that portion of the activity. It is important that individuals have access to these handouts during the Zoom session that will take place on Tuesday. The Zoom session is where we will discuss the activity and we will go over the sharing, processing, generalizing, and application portions of this group session. Thank you for attending, and I hope that you enjoyed it and looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday.